Nobody Likes Me is pretty great and painfully relatable. This is the second segment of the 13th episode of the first season of the Peanut series, and there will be spoilers from now as I talk about what happens and share some personal highlights. This one is all about how Charlie Brown feels. Usually that's what most episodes are about when they feature Charlie Brown, but this one a little bit more heavily than most. It mostly focuses on Charlie Brown and Lucy, but we do get a little bit of Peppermint Patty as well, and I'll address the Peppermint Patty part first, as it takes up the least amount of time. Basically, she's discussing love with Charlie Brown, and she doesn't know if he's the right person to talk to about love, and we have a nice enough exchange between both of them. It's not too bad, but for me, the entertainment definitely came from the interactions with Charlie Brown and Lucy. And Charlie Brown basically spends the entire cartoon telling Charlie Brown that he's depressed, that he wants somebody to like him. I feel like his emotions are exceptionally relatable. And of course, that's one of the great things about Charlie Brown. And it's very, very well animated. We see Charlie Brown with different postures. He's upside down at one point. I won't give the context for that, but I rather enjoyed that. And we have a gorgeous colour palette. There's one moment, it might be the thumbnail for this, where Charlie Brown is just in front of a giant heart. And it's so beautiful and soft and gentle. And visually, it's just absolutely gorgeous. But there are some really strong takeaways from this as well. I think there are two that I want to mention. And the first one is that Lucy realizes that somebody has the power to make Charlie Brown happy just by saying they like him. And actually that's pretty incredible. I really enjoyed that part of the story, because I think it's very true. Sometimes somebody just saying they like you, whether that's as a friend or something, a colleague, whatever, just knowing that somebody likes you can really lift the mood. And that's a lot of power for somebody to have. And yet it's such a simple thing. Simple yet powerful. And I thought that was quite eye-opening. And then Charlie Brown shared something that I also think is maybe not a cure-all, but definitely quite fascinating. And he basically says that if you want to enjoy being depressed, you need to stand slumped over. And here we see him with a pretty poor posture, a pretty classic posture for somebody who's not necessarily feeling very great. But I like the fact that he wasn't saying if you want to be happy, you need to stand up straight with your shoulders back and with your head up. But he's flipped it around and said, actually, if you want to get the most of your depression, you need to slump over. And I thought that was a really interesting tactic, and I rather liked it. And yes, I do think that posture is not going to cure depression, but it might make a little difference, even a tiny bit, even just occasionally. And I think that that's a pretty good takeaway as well. I rather enjoyed this one, despite the fact that there's not a lot of variety to the cartoon or to the story. I still found it to be really fun and really well done. And I think maybe one of my favourites, certainly in quite a while. Nobody Likes Me is a great segment in the Peanut series, and definitely one that I think is worth checking out.